Hi guys. I just want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for showing up this morning and listening to me talk. I know your schedules are really, really busy. I know how important your time is as well, so I'm going to try not to waste it for you. The reason that we're here today is that the president of our company graciously asked me if I would just take a little bit of time aside this morning to talk to everybody about my sales figures, particularly how high they've been in the most recent 3 months. Actually, the last 3 months has just been a whirlwind of events for me, and it's been difficult trying to decipher how I'm gonna communicate how I got my sales figures so high with you guys. Um, but I put a lot of thought into it, and I really do appreciate your time. I'll take any questions anybody might have at the end of the conversation, so please keep them in mind throughout my speaking, and definitely do not hesitate to ask me at the end of this call about anything that you have. I want to start with and talk a little bit about the best advice that I've ever received in my life, and it was recently. Um, Everything was literally going as good as it could be. It was flawless. It was smooth. Everything was just perfect. As good as it could be. A total state of euphoria. Until suddenly it wasn't anymore. The old adage, when it rains, it pours, proved true. My truck broke down for the second time. Transmission again. My mechanic told me that I could expect to be without my main vehicle for over a week. My sales figures were way down. I wasn't even sure how I was going to pay my regular bills, not to mention the $1,500 repair bill for the transmission for the second time. Everything was just stacked against me. I felt like I was backed in a corner. I had a couple close relatives that had passed away in a short period of time right around these events, and it was just everything that could go wrong did suddenly. It was from an extreme high all the way down, just a free fall. My mind crumbled. I felt like I was being backed in a corner, and I failed myself. I I broke down. I called up my grandmother, and I told her everything that has been going on, everything that's been happening since we last talked, and she offered me critical advice that I'm never going to forget. She said, "Joel, you're just average. You're just average. You put too much pressure on yourself to succeed. There's nothing wrong with being average. You are just average." And it just, I couldn't believe that. Thanks, Grandma. uh, but this is why it was the best advice I think that I've ever received, is because I disagreed with absolutely everything that she just said. Average was not good enough. I worked too hard to settle for average. It threw me back out of my funk, and it helped me realize that I was being a baby. I was crying about these problems that I had every opportunity in the world to fix. I had given up on myself because things around me, they weren't all perfect anymore. If and and I just started to think, if everybody always had perfect lives and everything always worked flawlessly and everything always went smooth, success wouldn't be an accomplishment. It would just be a part of life. My grandma could have told me, "Hey, Joel, keep your chin up. Work hard at what you do and do what you love." But she didn't. For a while, I couldn't figure out why she why she didn't. Why she couldn't have just given me some more positive advice when I needed it the most. But it really got me thinking. Maybe it wasn't the advice from somebody else that I was after, but motivation from within myself. The next 3 months of my life were my record high sales figures, also the most previous 3 months. So these events just recently happened. These events, this downturn in my life, this so-called rock bottom, is what really just pushed me forward and made me feel more accomplished. And I guess that it leads me into wanting to talk about some famous failures. What do people do when they fail? What happens? Um, so Michael Jordan is where I want to start. He once said, "I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." So that's a really telling statement. He's saying he's never given up. He's not saying he's been the best and he's always been the best. He's saying he's failed way more than he's succeeded, but it's because of the failures that he is a success. Speaking of Michael Jordan, let's continue on. He was cut from his high school basketball team. He went home, he locked himself in his room, and he cried. That's just one example of his failure. A lot of people have had failures. Take, for example, Albert Einstein. He wasn't able to speak, not a word, until he was almost 4 years old. Teachers said he would never amount to much. Oprah Winfrey, demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. And Walt Disney, fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. So, looking back at these people, what do they all have in common? It's not that they've always been the best. They've all had their fair share of failure. They just refused to give up. They found the motivation within themselves to continue on and to continue trying to do the things that they love. I'm not looking to pump you guys up for a day or, for me to make you guys feel good and then have you forget what I'm saying or, lose the meaning of it or throw it out of context. I just hope that you all can do what every successful person does and never give up. Make the change within yourself and tell yourself that, hey, you know what? No matter what happens, this is what I want, and this is where I want to be, and this is how I'm going to get there, and I'm going to do it. You are just as capable as anybody else. Give yourself pep talks every day, because this isn't about what I see in you, it's about what you see in you. No amount of talking from me today is going to suddenly make you guys successful. It's going to come from within. Everyone knows that discouragement and stress carry over into your life, your everyday life. So try to consciously reverse this process. Take some time aside, give yourself pep talks, and make yourself happy and successful. Make yourself happy and successful. Research shows that it works. After all, who knows you better than you? A couple things I want everybody to do before you go out on sales calls. I want everybody to get excited. I want you guys to be pumped every single day to go out there and make these sales. Create some goals, have a purpose, and just get it done. Do it. There's no excuses not to get this done. We are all capable of it. So don't be afraid of failure. Stay positive. Keep moving forward. George Bernard Shaw, a famous economist, once said, "Better keep yourself clean and bright, for you are the window through which you must see the world." So I'll say that again. You better keep yourself clean and bright, because you are the window through which you must see the world. That's telling us, we can't expect to have a dirty window, so to speak, and have everybody else clean it for us. If it's dirty on the inside, we have to clean it on the inside. This is our gateway to the outer world. We need to keep ourselves positive and go for that opportunity when it comes and when it presents itself to you. Go out there and tell yourself, I'm going to get an order, whether it be a purchase order or a restraining order. But obviously that's just a joke. Avoid the restraining order. But back to my grandma's advice on a more serious note, it changed my life. It made me see that success comes from within us. So I don't expect to leave here knowing that I've motivated everyone listening to succeed. I just expect to leave knowing that I've given you guys all the tools to succeed. It's up to you whether or not to use them. So with that said, what questions do you guys have for me?